Hi, my name is Casey Smith, and this is my NUN experience. I have lived in a small suburban town in Connecticut for my entire life. So, when the time came to apply to colleges, I knew I wanted a more urban, globalized campus. After learning about Northeastern's amazing co-op and study abroad programs, I knew it was the school for me. But when my acceptance letter to the NUN program first came in March, I found myself doubting Northeastern. I wanted to live in Boston, not abroad. I didn't want to deviate from the traditional college experience by going to a foreign country for a couple of months. But after a little bit of research, I learned that the NUN program is actually pretty popular. People from all over the world participate. Most people end up benefiting from it in ways they never thought possible. So, after spending a month agonizing over the decision, I decided to venture from my humble beginnings in Connecticut to travel to Ireland for a semester. Although I traveled before, I wasn't sure I was ready to live abroad for 3.5 months on my own. For most people, going to college is stressful enough. Throw in a new country, a new culture, different currency, and cooking for yourself, and you have a full-on disaster. Of course, the reality of all that didn't really hit me until I got here. Stepping off the plane and heading into my first week here, I was surprised by the simple beauty of Ireland. Visiting Causey Farm was a little window into the Irish culture, and health was absolutely stunning. At the farm, I got to bake my own Irish soda bread, play a traditional Irish drum, and jump into a ball. At Howth, a little seaside village just outside of Dublin, I got to know my peers and learn about their backgrounds. I quickly learned that I was not alone, and that other people here felt the same way I did, both excited to be abroad and slightly terrified of the 3.5 months to come. After a couple of weeks here, I began to settle into a routine, and as I did, I began to learn more about myself and the reality of the world around me. I took classes at the Dublin Business School and lived at Griffith College, where I learned to live on my own. Cooking for myself was one of my biggest accomplishments and biggest battles. I became a local in a city that was not my own, and learned that, while intimidating at first, Dublin is really just a big town. After adjusting to my surroundings, I got the opportunity to travel to Sligo and stay in an eco-lodge there. Sligo allowed me to experience the Irish culture firsthand and to admire the beautiful Irish countryside. Surfing was one of the best things I've done since I've been here, even though it isn't the first thing that pops into mind when you think of Ireland. I didn't get to actually stand up on the board, and even though the waves kept knocking me down, I just kept getting right back up again, shouting at the waves to bring it on. While here, we also went on 2 study tours, one to the north of Ireland and one to the west. In the north, I was able to learn more about the history of Ireland through the beautiful murals painted on the walls of Belfast and Derry. In the west, I got to see the cliffs of Moher and the Aran Islands, and I can honestly say that they were some of the most beautiful places I've ever been. From the darkest grays, the sunburst clouds break, yeah, we see that fire from the streets of Babylon. One of the perks of living in Europe is the access to different cultures in a very close proximity. Throughout my time in Ireland, I had the opportunity to travel to Barcelona, Amsterdam, Paris, and Prague. Each city was beautiful in its own right, and each had a different feel. Learning how to travel on my own was definitely the hardest part, however. Navigating new cities, especially ones in which the population doesn't speak English, was a strange combination of exhilarating and terrifying. In my opinion, the best aspect of the NUN program is the service learning. For my assignment, I was assigned to YMCA Dublin to work with underprivileged kids. The kids I worked with were only 2 to 3 years old, and they were incredibly happy all the time. My fellow volunteers and coworkers also taught me more about the city I was living in and helped me integrate farther into the Irish culture. Working with them and the kids showed me a side of Dublin I hadn't seen before, and I was glad I was able to make a difference in their lives. I learned how to take care of kids, especially ones in bad situations. I can only hope that I made as much of a difference in their lives as they did in mine. Queen to the rook, your decision was a sure thing. Honey, yeah, a sure thing. No wonder I feel like I'm missing a heavy load. But no matter what daylight brings to us, we all know. After having lived in Ireland for 3 months, if I had the opportunity to go back to March and change my decision, I couldn't. Living abroad for my first semester of college has been an utterly unique and eye-opening experience. Not only have I learned how to fend for myself in the real world, from learning that laundry detergent and fabric softener are not the same thing, to cooking and buying toilet paper, but I also developed a new global perspective. Prior to this experience, I was living in a bubble. I didn't know anything about the outside of my tiny suburban town in Connecticut. Now I have a desire to see what the rest of the world has in store for me and what I can bring to it. This semester abroad has truly been an unforgettable experience, and I can't wait to take my newfound perspective back to Northeastern with me.